Hello everybody. Welcome back. This is Professor West, and today I will be covering a list picker program. This is a very small program, but it has some really important things in it that we can use in other programs. So it won't take long to make. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's jump up to projects and tell it start a new project, and I'm just going to call this one list picker. I don't know, I guess I'm on 5 or so, I don't know. Okay, remember when you're naming it that you can't have spaces in the name. So, all a list picker does is it creates a list and then it allows you to select something from the list. So if you've ever been on a website and it's having you fill out your information, for example, and when you get to the state, there's a little drop down list with like every state, AZ for Arizona and TX for Texas and whatever, and you pick the one that you want and it fills it in. That's all we're talking about doing here. So we're just going to jump right in and we're going to create one. To do so, we've already got the user interface clicked. Let's go right to the list picker and drag it onto the screen. And that is all we need on here. We can do more with it. We could add actual text boxes and lists and whatever. But for the purposes of this little program, that's all we need. So I'm going to go right into the blocks. So a list picker has two really important functions. There's what you see before you pick something and what happens after you pick something. The rest of these, like got focus, that just means that maybe you hit the tab key and it went to it, but you haven't actually clicked on it yet. Lost focus means you tabbed off of it, so forth. So the two that we're going to be focusing on is the before picking and the after picking. So we're going to start with the before. And this is just going to create our list of options, basically. So we are going to first need some variables, or a variable. So we're going to click on variables and we're going to do initialize global variable. And I'm just going to call it states. Why not? And I'm going to give it a default, or actually I'm going to give it a list for its default. So let's click on lists, and we're just going to go right to make a list. A list is just a series of options that you could choose. So right now there's 2 spots on this list command here. But if you want to add more, you can just click this little gear icon, and you can add as many as you want. 3, 4, 5, 6, however many you want. You can add a ton of these. And notice that each time I add one, it adds it here for us to actually add something to our list. So, the next thing we're going to do is tell it what's going to be on there. And a list can be anything. It can be numbers, it can be words. Let's go ahead. I made this one states. Let's go ahead and do states. So let's get a blank text box, and I'm just going to click it right here. And I'm going to right click and tell it to duplicate, so I get some more. Or I can use the Control C and Control V if I'm on a Windows computer, or do the equivalent on a Mac, just like you would in Microsoft Word or whatever. And Control C copies and Control V pastes. If you're on a Mac, I believe it's the Mac key or whatever. So then I'm going to go in and I'm just going to give it some potential ones. So let's say this is states. I'm going to do Arizona, Arkansas, South Dakota, New Mexico, Texas, and Vermont. Why not? So now our list is just going to be these 6 states. And now I'm going to go into our list picker before picking, and I'm going to simply tell it that that's what our list is. So go into the list picker, and we're going to come down to the green section, and we're going to look for one called elements. And the important thing to remember here is, first, all the dark green ones that have the word set are used for setting a value. And the ones that don't have the word set are used for getting the value. That's why they call these setters and getters. The other important thing to remember is these are all in alphabetical order by this last box, because they're all the same on the first box. So if I was looking for the background, here's the B's. If I was looking for elements, here's the E's. We're looking for elements, so we're already in the right spot. So we need to set the elements. So we're going to get this dark green one and drag it right on. And now, since we've created this variable that has all of these in it, we're just going to point to the name, and we're going to use the get and stick it right in there. So whenever we're going to use this item, this before picking is going to come to whatever our states is, see all of these states, and then add them into this list box, into this list picker. And that's it. So now the selections will come up. To demonstrate this, I've already pulled up the emulator. Let me get that over here. So all I've told it to do, this is my list picker, remember, and I've told it to display these options. So when I click this list picker, here's my options. That's it. I can't really pick one yet because I haven't told it what to do in that case. So I'm going to do that right now. We're going to come back to the list picker, and we're going to do the after picking. We're going to tell it what to do after we've picked one of these items. So all we need to do right now is go back to the list picker. We're going to do the set text. So we're going to scroll all the way down to the T's. And here we go, the set text. And if you grabbed the wrong one, it's no problem. You can click the drop down, and here's all of the options. So you could pick any of them. We're going to tell it to set the text to whatever we selected. So we're going to go back into the list picker, and we're going to find the selection. So we're looking for the S's. Here we go. And list picker.selection. So now what we've told it to do is our actual little button that started off on the screen, that's our list picker, the text is now going to be whatever we selected. So let's bring this back on. If I click Texas, boom, TX is on my button. That's it. That's all we're talking about doing here. If I want to try something else, now I want to click Arizona, or whatever, there it is. Now maybe I want to click Vermont, and there it is. And of course you don't have to set it to this. You could set it to other labels. You could have questions, what state are you from, and different stuff. This is just a really simple introduction to how to use the list picker and lists. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I look forward to you showing up next time. Bye.